And in episode 5, Dimitri starts with his training, but to be frank, he's a whiny bitch. He does stuff, but it's only after complaining about it and asking if there's an easier way. And it becomes obvious to Daniel that Dimitri doesn't want to be here, and he asks him, "Why are you here?" And Dimitri tells him it's because his whole life he wasn't popular, but at least he had friends. And then when Cobra Kai swooped in, all of his friends became douchebags. And now he's getting threatened by his best friend, so he wants to show that he can defend himself. And it's a sad state because Dimitri just lacks confidence. Now over with Cobra Kai that day, they have a lesson, and the main message is, even if you're going to get hurt, sometimes going all in is worth the risk. And afterwards, Kreese compliments Johnny about the lesson but says, "Are you even listening to your own words? Your kid is getting coached by your enemy. Go all in." So Johnny decides to go searching for Robbie, bringing a new skateboard to his apartment, but when he gets there, there's an eviction sign, and his ex-wife isn't answering the phone. So he goes to 3 separate LaRusso auto dealerships looking for Robbie because he knows he works there, when he meets Anish. And Anish is a douchebag to him, not answering the question of where is Robbie, to the point where Johnny jacks him up against a car in the dealership and demands to know where his son is, and that's when Anish reveals, "I'm not sure, but he did move in with the LaRussos." And when Johnny hears that, he goes on a bender, arriving back in his apartment, drunk off his ass, where he runs into Carmen who's doing laundry, and Carmen feels bad for him, so she brings him into their apartment to sober up. And shortly after, he fills her in on why he went down this bender, the whole backstory with Daniel, and how the fact that Daniel LaRusso just took his kid in makes Johnny want to get vengeance on him. But she tells him that's not going to make you feel better. Trust me, I know, from my ex-husband. The only way to end a rivalry is to rise above it. Be the bigger person. Now, Johnny wanted to know where Robbie was, but Robbie headed to the mall with Sam and Dimitri to grab some food. But shortly after the group sits down, Dimitri realizes that the comic book store has released the new comic of one of his favorite series, so he runs off to grab it. And while skimming through it, he's approached by Eli and a couple of the newbies from Cobra Kai, because Dimitri wrote a scathing review on Yelp, and Eli wants him to take it down. Dimitri tells him, though, "I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to risk my journalistic integrity on Yelp," but Eli pushes him. And Dimitri tells him, "I know who you actually are, Eli. I'm not going to be intimidated by you." But then he turns around and there are 2 other guys behind him. And now it just looks like it's going to be gang warfare. So it's time to use that training that he's had, even though he is not ready. He tells Eli that Eli isn't the only one who knows karate. He's been learning Miyagi-Do. And he gets in a fighting stance, but he gets taken down pretty easily. And when that happens, he just runs off, running through the mall to try to get away from Cobra Kai. And it's not like all of the people that are chasing Dimitri are down with this. The one kid turns to Eli and says, "Yo, I think he learned his lesson. We don't need to do this." But Eli just bullies him up and says, "Shut up," and go after him. And they end up catching up to Dimitri at the food court, where Dimitri cannot find Sam or Robbie. And as the Cobra Kai members converge on poor Dimitri, that's when Robbie and Sam swoop in, protecting him. Now, it's 5 on about 2.5, really, because of Dimitri, who poses no threat. And Eli feels pretty good about this, but Miyagi-Do wins out. Both Sam and Robbie's practice with that choreographed dance fighting thing ends up paying off big time. They fight off the Cobra Kai members, including an epic roundhouse kick from Robbie into Eli's face that knocks him out cold. And when they get back to Miyagi-Do, Robbie and Sam are pumped. They're reliving the moment, excited that their hard work paid off. And Daniel's excited too, although he is concerned that they're okay. But after finding out they're okay, he's proud of them for defending each other. And that's when he looks over in the corner and there is Dimitri, sitting by himself, feeling very insecure because he could do nothing. And when Daniel goes to talk to him, trying to make him feel better, Dimitri compares himself to Samuel Tarly, where Robbie and Sam are Jon Snow and Daenerys. But to his surprise, Daniel watches Game of Thrones, and he tells him if there's anything to take from that message, it's that anybody can do anything, because Samuel Tarly killed a White Walker. Never forget that. He then starts going over some defense moves with Dimitri, making it a little bit more easy to remember. Now, on the flip side of that battle, you have Eli, who got his ass beat, and the 180 turn of Eli has been insane. I mean, this kid went from crying to his mom about the kids making fun of him, saying he never got a girlfriend, to now becoming the biggest bully in Cobra Kai. And having a girlfriend, but not for long. Because when Moon finds out of what he did, she's no longer interested in dating him, telling him, "I like your mohawk, I like your muscles, but I'm not going to date a bully." And he does not take that well at all, storming back into Cobra Kai and taking his rage out on a heavy bag. But that's when Kreese walks in and can tell he was in a fight. And Eli fills him in that they lost to a bunch of kids from Miyagi-Do, but Kreese tells him the fight isn't over until you say it is. So Eli rounds up some other members from Cobra Kai, they grab some spray paint, and they head to Miyagi-Do, and they completely trash it. And when Sam, Robbie, and Daniel wake up in the next morning, they find a wrecked Miyagi-Do. And it's pretty bad, but it gets worse when Daniel realizes that they even took Mr. Miyagi's Medal of Honor. And Daniel gets really emotional about that. They also spray painted Mr. Miyagi's car that says Cobra Kai never die. And that is a final straw for Daniel, who gets in the car, drives over to Cobra Kai, and confronts Johnny. And Johnny says, I have no idea what you're talking about, because he really doesn't. But Daniel, who's almost brought to tears about the fact that they stole Mr. Miyagi's Medal of Honor, tells him, just because you steal a Medal of Honor doesn't mean you actually earned it. They then look like they're about to square off and fight, and Daniel tells him, well, you know I'm not going to throw the first punch. What are you going to do? But Johnny remembers the message from Carmen. Rise above it, be the bigger man, and he tells him, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to be the bigger man. Daniel then proclaims to the entire dojo that it's not too late. You don't have to learn like this. Miyagi-Do is welcome to everybody. And then he leaves. And behind him is about half of the dojo leaving with him, including the kid in the mall who told him, hey, Eli, we don't need to do this. And he tells his friends, I didn't really like it here in the first place. Now, just because Eli's relationship ended doesn't mean it's all been bad. Miguel took the advice of going all in, and he's trying to win Sam back with a graphic. He needs a female's perspective, so he shows Tori, not realizing that she's been hitting on him this entire time. And when Tori sees that it's Sam, Tori's advice is to delete it because he seems desperate, and girls aren't into desperate guys. So, act like you're over her, then she'll come back, but in the meantime, let's have some fun. And that fun includes making out with Tori under the stars and trying to get Miguel to forget about Sam entirely. And over with Sam, after kicking the crap out of some Cobra Kai goons, she's making s'mores with Robbie that night when they get really close to hooking up, but Robbie pulls away, saying, there's nothing against you, it's just I got a really good thing going here with your dad, and I don't want to screw it up. And I don't think hooking up with you would be screwing it up, but I just don't want to take that chance. So, love is in the air for everybody except Eli. Thank you so much for watching this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Like the video if you liked it. Hit thumbs down if you thought it sucked. If you don't see the next video up in the end screen, don't worry, it'll be up soon. And please be nice in the comments section. Nobody likes being told they suck, even if it's true. Oh, and sharing's caring.